Hey guys, welcome to the live. Hey everyone. Hey everyone in the chat. Nicole, Peter, Brian. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone who celebrates. And if you don't, well, you can come celebrate it with us. So before we get into the topic, let's first welcome in your higher levels. Okay, so your higher levels are you, higher frequencies, higher tones of the being that you are, which is pure love, pure energy, and pure consciousness. So let's take a deep breath in, and on the out breath, put everything but everything outside of you. So all of the density, all of the hoopla, all of the have tos. And I mean, can you imagine if everyone on the planet started to bring in their higher levels, what a party we would have? I mean, it would be very fun. So we can have that right here, right now. But let's bring in you, bring in your higher levels, and put everything but everything outside of you. So even that nudging voice, so the have tos, the shoulds, the gotta do's, this is what life is supposed to be like, you are supposed to be like, okay, that is mass consciousness, that is the ego. Let's also put that outside of you. And then drop your consciousness from in between the eyebrows down into the center of the chest, into the heart chakra, and going into feeling. So instead of thinking about everything and processing yourself through the mind, let's go into feeling. So the mind was really created to be a tool for you to express yourself, but it was never meant to be made God over you, or we give our power away to the mind and process everything through the mind. So let's drop our consciousness down into the heart chakra and going into feeling. Okay. And even if you can't feel anything, that's okay. Just know that it is happening. We're bringing you in. So you are commanding it to be, and then it is so. And bringing up all of the stuff that is not you, that has nothing to do with you, and is no longer serving you. So again, when I actually, let me get a drink before we go any further. Let's stop right there. So mass consciousness, the egos, it is like the matrix. Okay, so you are in this world, you are pure love, pure energy, pure consciousness, but you are not of it. There is no density to you. You are light. Okay, you are consciousness. Okay, the ideas, the social constructs, even the perception that you are the body, all of that, let's put that all of that outside of you. Okay, and then what happens, of course, because we are creators, when we buy into that stuff, those judgments, it's not that we make it real, because it cannot be more real than you or I, but we give energy to it, and then it's there. Okay, so when you may experience this, is an easy way to explain it. If you ever watch the news and it's like breaking news, blah blah blah, or even actually especially scrolling on social media, reading people's posts or whatever, you may feel the tug, the pull on your energy field. Okay, that's mass consciousness. That's someone or something trying to get you to buy into what they are believing, perceiving, and making what they perceive to be a reality a reality. Okay, so even all of these constructs, death, destruction, the perception of lack, those are all stuff that humans have given energy to, but of course they're not real on a higher level. So just for example, I'll give an example. The perception of death. Okay, so it comes through the belief that you are your body, okay? And then when we're done with the body, we leave the body. Well, there's a perception that the love that you are is gone because you are the body, okay? But it's, of course, it's true when you give it energy to it and then you see your reality that way, and then you maybe have a loved one or someone around you pass away, and all of those emotions come up, and all of that, it comes through the belief systems, the judgments we've made in the mind, okay? But of course it's not true on a higher level because you are eternal. So so this is, if you think about like video games, okay? Going into a video game and then perceiving yourself to be the character, forgetting that you're the one actually playing the game. That's what's happened to humanity, okay? So we're coming out of that and into the heart, into the true power, the true wisdom, the true coming back into an alignment with ourselves and remembering that, well, we are eternal, and this is all for fun. Okay. So nothing is to be taken seriously. Hey everyone. Hi guys in the chat. Hello. Hello there. So lack, what did I write up here? So lack and attachment versus abundance and neutrality. Yeah, isn't it interesting? So also the Matrix, also what it does is it completely contradicts itself. So again, these are judgments, and they all have a polarity and they all contradict themselves. Like Thanksgiving is today in the United States, so be grateful for what you have, but but don't forget our Black Friday sales, because what you have is not enough and you need more. So that's the kind of stuff. All of that is in the airwaves. Let's put that all outside of us. And what does, yeah, so we're explaining the old paradigm, we're coming into the new paradigm. So the old paradigm is based off of lack and attachment, okay? And we're moving into the new paradigm where it's abundance and neutrality. So, and it's a very interesting thing, and you can see it with the Black Friday sales and all of that. It's from mass consciousness. It's built on egos, the perception of lack. So you need this, you need that. You are not enough. What you have is not enough. And you need something outside of you to complete you or make you whole. And that's really the root of the old paradigm. So something, whether it's material objects or another person or a god or money, someone or something outside of you to complete you. And so many, of course, everybody has bought into it, okay, in past lives and also in this experience, trying to find your way home outside of yourself. Okay, so, and that's where the attachment comes from, because there's an expectation, right? When you go to buy a new outfit or a new car or a new house, then there's an attachment there. There's an expectation that somehow it's going to make your life better. So that missing piece or that lonely feeling, or that, what it is it's the absence of your own presence, but we haven't really had the words or the awareness to express that. But it's, you're feeling the absence of your own presence and then trying to fill it up by buying new stuff and building yourself up, not you, anyone specifically, but just the old paradigm. So the ego wanting material things so other people perceive it as successful and blah, 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 blah. It's trying to find your way home, filling up that missing place, that missing space where you have gone missing, trying to fill it up with stuff outside of you. And that's why in the beginning of the live, I'm saying, let's bring in you, let's bring in your higher levels to fill up any empty space or place where you are not. Okay, so I'll go back a little bit. Enlightenment. let me let me get a drink. So enlightenment, the body, you cannot become enlightened because you're already the light. Okay, surprise, surprise. So but what can become enlightened is the body. When you bring in your higher levels, okay, and fill up every empty space and place within the body with yourself, with your presence, when you put the ego, all of that density, all of that stuff that you've bought into, and take a look at it and transcend it, then more of you, the love that you are, can come into the body, and the body becomes enlightened. And that's really where disease stops becoming a problem, because we're not buying into stuff outside of us. Even the concept of aging, that's something that came from mass consciousness years ago, and it's been, and people look outside of themselves for the truth, and then they buy into it, and the body responds. So all of that is outside of you. The body is outside of you. All of the material things, physical things, is outside of you. And the attachment comes from the expectation that it's it's going to make your life better somehow. So I mean, you can look at that, celebrities, the richest people in the world, there's a saying, more money, more problems. So because money cannot buy love. Money cannot buy, I mean, that's really what everyone's looking for when they're looking for money, or then there'll be something in society and people will look at them like they are something, and then people will love them. It's a bunch of hoopla and stuff in the background. I mean, why would anyone need money to get love when you are love? So let's get into abundance and neutrality. And even we can, let's break it up, because I've been rambling. We can answer some questions from Patreon. So let me go to the homepage really quick. Let's see. Heather says, something to ponder for sure. I find myself attached to material things like soft blankets and clothing, comfort and warmth. Well, my ego is attached to those things. It's about, so we're not gonna, I mean, it's really about what you enjoy. Okay, so I enjoy a soft blanket. I don't enjoy sandpaper. We're sleeping with sandpaper, right? So it's about what you enjoy, but not identifying with it. Okay, so the same thing with clothes. Clothes are just clothes to cover the body, because of the climate, and because at this point in society, it's, I mean, you don't have to wear clothes, but it's recommended that you do, just because there's other people on the planet, and they have their beliefs, their perceptions, and if you want to interact with others, then it's best to put some clothes on. But it may change as humanity evolves, right? But the thing is, they're just clothes. They don't make you anything. They don't make you a better whatever. They don't make you cool. They don't make you uncool. They don't make you in style. They don't make you not in style. They're just clothes. But when you become attached to clothes, so an example would be somebody who, kind of like a wedding dress. Okay, so women, it's part of mass consciousness where you get to wear some. I laugh at it because it's so far from where I am, but it's mass consciousness. Women have been programmed to look forward to one day when they get to wear a wedding dress. and then that makes them the bride, it makes them special, or it makes them basically better than everyone there, right? And then there's all these rules. You can't wear white to a wedding because you don't want to upstage the bride, and it's about being on a pedestal and everybody else is down there. So that's one example of how humanity has attached themselves to a material object or a piece of clothing. I mean, can you imagine? We are the energy that has created the entire universe. So, and then believing that you need a dress to make you more of something, what you're doing is you're actually making yourself smaller by not recognizing, well, not looking within, not recognizing who you are. So the more you go into the ego and those belief systems, the smaller and smaller, or the further away you get from yourself. So that's why those who go away, the celebrities, they make all of their money, they have all of the fame, people perceptively love them. It's not really love, people just want something from them. Okay, so it's actually it's not love at all. It's actually, in a way, kind of abuse. Okay, so that someone just exists to basically entertain people, to distract them from themselves. But that's why you see those dear ones, they have the looks, they have the money, they have the fame, and then they get into drugs. They, are not healthy, whole, and complete within themselves. And oftentimes they are the ones that feel the most alone because they've gone so far away from themselves, out of alignment with themselves. And that's, to me, living in hell. Okay, so going the material route, it's, well, what is it worth? That's that saying, people sell their souls or whatever. I mean, you can't really sell your soul, but you can create a prison for yourself by believing that material objects, being perceptively good looking to other people, and all of this stuff is gonna assist you back home, or you're gonna get something out of it or find yourself in that. It's the road, all roads lead to home, okay, but but so we're reaching a point now where so many have gone down those roads and it's been empty, have found emptiness. Now it's time to look within and open the heart. So that's and more, it's still a very small percentage of people, okay, but it's at this time anyways. But more and more and more, the more people open their hearts and stand in their own integrity, then the more others will, and then it will just grow and grow and grow and grow. And that's actually true abundance. So when you go into the heart, when you open the heart, when you start to ask yourself, is this me? What is important to me? Why am I doing what am I doing? Am I enjoying this, or am I doing this to please others, or whatever? What will happen is, well, the heart opens and like attracts like, so the abundance will come. Okay, but it won't. And oftentimes, see, the ironic thing is, the more you come in alignment with yourself, the less, well, you're not attached to anyone or anything. So yeah, you don't need the extras, the clothes, the cars, the money, all of that, because you have your higher levels. And that's true abundance. And of course, yeah, money will come, okay, but this is an interesting thing. So the money will come, but often what's in alignment with your higher levels is not a $5 million mansion or a 20,000 square foot house. What we've see, because everyone's been programmed to believe that they want this or that. And that's why, let's find out what you enjoy and what's in alignment with you, because most are really happy with not much, just their higher levels and the shirt on their back. Okay, so what I was getting at is the law of attraction. So let me someone says it's fun watching royal weddings. Exactly. They have the dress and everyone's like, "Oh my god, you're you're getting married." What does that mean? And that's awesome that they are, if that's what they want, but why would that mean anything to anyone except those dear ones that are experiencing it? Do you know what I mean? Why is that would be a topic of discussion, and why would that be important to anyone? What does that mean? You know, anyways, what I was saying was the law of attraction. So, and it's a huge market, right? So this idea that you can attract anything that you want, and that is absolutely and 100% true. Okay, but is it you that really wants all of those things, or is it the ego that wants all of those things? So the law, and like attracts like. So the thing is if we're not addressing all of the density, all of the hoopla, all of the stuff we bought into, all of the stuff in the subconscious, then you're still going to be attracting the same situations. So you're still going to be attracting lack, okay? And it's actually your higher levels, you're creating these situations so that you can ask yourself, am I done with this? Am I, and you're asking to be shown stuff about yourself, well, where you've bought into stuff. Okay, that's what the journey of life is about, is finding out who you are. So so if we're not addressing the ego, if we're not addressing ourselves, all the stuff in the subconscious, then we're still going to be attracting those situations and all of that lack in your reality. Again, if you're healthy, whole, and complete within yourself, and there's nothing lacking within you, then how could you attract lack outside of you? Does that make sense? So that's one part that there's it's missing to the law of attraction teachings in the new age community. is and it's I mean it's really funny to me because the people who sell those teachings, of course, have become millionaires and blah blah blah. So to them it's like, oh, it worked. But they're appealing, the reason that they have $60 million mansions is because they're appealing to people's ego, the old paradigm. So basically, you don't have to do anything, you just have to ask, believe, receive, and then it will happen for you. And the thing is it's, again, what do you enjoy? What do you really want? Okay, what makes your heart expand? What yeah, it feels most expansive to you, okay? And I highly doubt, I mean, it's not impossible, anyone would answer, well, I need 2,000 more dollars, I need to pay off my mortgage, or any of that. That stuff is so minimal to the creator, okay? What, instead of coming from a place where what can I get from the law of attraction, what can I get from stuff or people or things outside of me, what can I contribute, how do I enjoy, what do I enjoy doing, and then do what you enjoy doing, and then you're assisting others that way, and the abundance will come. So but that's part of it. You are abundant. It doesn't come from outside of you. And if you're experiencing lack in your reality, it's not because something's missing outside of you, it's there's something missing not within you, but a place where you have yet to bring your light to. Okay, so misunderstandings from childhood, often misunderstandings from past lifetimes. Okay, so we want to let all of that stuff come out. And I know that many people will watch my videos, especially the recent ones, and be like, yeah, what the fuck is she talking about? Okay, I am well I'm well aware of it, and it's actually very I enjoy it. So so uh because this kind of stuff, it's done, when I say let's bring all of this stuff up, it's done energetically. And there's a huge, huge belief that humanity cannot do this for some reason. Again, there's only some people that are like enlightened or have contacts with ETs or angels or whatever. No, that's all. Does that really make sense? Does that really make sense? That would be the case. And that you would come here into this life without the equipment to walk your walk and talk your talk. So, of course, you would never set yourself up for failure. So, of course, you can do it. That voice that says, I can't do it, or, yeah, Megan can do it, or, but I can't, or so and this and that, that's the programming, that's all of this stuff, that's hoopla, that's mass consciousness, that's the ego. Again, it wants to, the matrix, mass consciousness wants to make people believe that they can't do anything for themselves and that they need to be told who they are and what they need to do, what they should look like, what they should want, how to spend their money on Black Friday. And so that it gets its energy and it can continue to thrive and survive. Okay? So the more people that step out of that and stay true to themselves, the less the matrix it doesn't get as much energy, so then it starts to die. Okay? And then eventually everybody steps out of the old paradigm and then everyone's in a new paradigm, and that those belief systems that are based on money, sex, power, greed, they're all dissolved. That's what I mean when I say it's real, because humans are giving energy to it, but it's not real to you when you take your energy out of it. So everybody's creating their own reality. They can see things through their own filters, their own judgments. And what we're doing on my channel, what I'm doing is taking out all of the filters and all of the judgments. And we're not reprogramming the brain with new belief systems, because the brain is just a tool for you to express yourself. The less judgments, the less filters it has, the more clear it is. So why would we want to put new programs on it, right? So if you have a belief, a lot of that is, I'll give you an example. Maybe you're having money issues, right? So there's this feeling, there's this belief, I'm in lack. So if I just tell myself an affirmation, I'm abundant every day, then my mind will be programmed to abundance, and then I'll somehow become abundant. And it's a lower level of consciousness, because when you're doing that, you're perceiving yourself just to be your mind. Okay, the mind is just the tool, it's part of the body, and when you leave the body, the mind, well, it's not operational anymore. The body's not operational anymore. So it's there to serve you. But changing the programming, I mean, again, if you don't have the belief that you're in lack or you're not abundant, then you don't need to reprogram the brain that you are abundant. So let's just take that thought and put it outside. So this is not the easy route, but I've yet to be shown the easy route. So going the route of the ego, money, sex, power, greed, and trying to find yourself outside of yourself, that is a hard route too. Okay, that's and it may look, people post their pictures on Facebook and that's really, most of it is how they want to be perceived to others, okay? And it might look a certain way on the outside, but when you tune into it, everybody is feeling alone and everybody is looking for their way home. They're looking for themselves. So let's bring in you. And how can we do that? Let me get a drink. Hey guys, happy Thanksgiving. Heather says it absolutely works now, triggering myself to find hidden ones. Yeah, this is a good example. So the first thing is we want to recognize what triggers the ego. Okay? So, and I've talked about it before. So finding everything that you right exactly where you are, okay? Right here, right now, everything that you've experienced, everything that you've gone through, created, giving energy to, is divine, okay? It's not on accident. You created, you gave energy to all of this stuff. Even, of course, going the path of the ego has brought you to where you are, and you've created the perfect situations for you to find out who you are, okay? So that whatever crappy relationship you're in, maybe you're going through a divorce, maybe you're just getting married, maybe you had a baby, maybe you got a job, maybe you lost your job, whatever you're going through, that's part of your journey. And if you feel unhappy about it, if you feel emotions coming up, if you feel triggered by it, then that's something that you're being shown, hey, there's something here. There's something going on where you've bought into something where you're not seeing it from a place of neutrality, because the creator is neutral. Okay? So it's not that if we have an issue with someone at work, right? And they're really grinding our gears. So we want to take a look what's going on there. Why does this person bring all of these emotions up within me? And oftentimes it's because there's a quality of them. They remind you of mom or dad or somebody. Okay? There's something going on there. And we want to take a look at it. Okay? So yes. So every situation, I mean, you could quit the job, right? But what will happen is you'll just go somewhere else and it will show up again, because you're asking to be shown, hey, are you ready to transcend this? Okay? So you can try to run away from what you perceive to be the bad stuff or the bad people or stuff that triggers you, but why would you? Because you're the one giving energy to it. Of course, it's not a conscious thing. If you were conscious of it, then you would just take the energy out of it. But you're asking to be shown where there's stuff that you've bought into that is no longer serving you. So every step you take, wherever you go, you're finding your way home. But what so many do and what we've been taught to do is basically whatever, Betsy at work has been a bitch all day, so we're gonna go home, we're gonna drink a beer, maybe smoke some weed, maybe whatever you do, and then sit on the TV and watch TV and basically ignore it and pretend it's not there. Okay? Or watch something on YouTube, or watch Netflix or the news, or oftentimes it's looking at someone on social media who you think is a total mess, so that it's easier to look at someone who is perceptively doing worse than you and you feel better about yourself. Okay? So instead of ignoring all that stuff, let's take a look at it and let's address it, because it will keep coming up until you address it. So there's no easy way out. It does get easier the more you address that stuff, because then the triggers aren't there anymore. But staying in that place at that level of consciousness, well, some are going to continue to play there, and then some are really ready to step out of it. And then step by step, each individual that steps out, then that's when the old paradigm dissolves. And really, there won't be, that's when, see, if I'm trying to find the words for what I'm tuning into, because Yeah, it won't be this. See, the perception of money is that a lot of it is built on there's a lack of it, and it's something outside of you. Then it really won't be something that is from the mind or a mind game or anything like that. It will just be there, but it won't rule our lives. It won't rule. I mean, money, we've made it this way, but money rules the world. So that's why people think if I get more money, then I'll have power. But you're actually enslaving yourself to something outside of you. It's really interesting. So, um, so anyway, so I was getting back to what Heather was saying. Yeah. So and also Heather, if you because you were saying how you're in your comfort zone or whatever with your fuzzy blankets and stuff. So, what would be something that you've been wanting to try, or you've been getting a soft nudge from your entourage to do, maybe to see if you enjoy it? And oftentimes that will be really triggering for the ego. Okay, so sometimes it's very easy to get stuck in this comfort zone where everything is perceptively going great or whatever, but it's like I'm seeing an image, but I'm trying to find the words for it. It's like a house of cards, like barely it's not being it's just one thing could go wrong, and then of course the ego is totally triggered. Heather says yoga. Exactly. So that would be something that would be beneficial to the body that you might enjoy, but of course the ego is going to be triggered because it's something new. It doesn't know what's coming, and it's going to bring some more stuff up, all of these judgments and perceptions that you've bought into about the body. So the body needs to be super flexible. It needs to look like a supermodel. It needs to do this and that. So that's when we say, okay, higher levels come on in, higher levels take command, and then we dive in. So how does it feel when you tune into it? So we can go to the yoga class together energetically. You can project your consciousness there. So you and I, we're going to go to the yoga class. And without processing it through the mind, how does it feel in your body? And I'll let you go first, and then I'll let you know what I get. And it's exactly fun, but can you feel how triggered the ego is? So it's it will be super fun, because then, well, how can you lose? Because the body is getting all of those benefits, you're having fun, and then you're also finding more aspects of yourself that have bought into hoopla, mass consciousness, that are ready to be transcended. So you literally cannot lose. So there's the perception that you win or lose at life is the old paradigm. So it's, again, this perception of lack. You can only win. There is no losing. Everything is an experience. There is no failure. Okay, there are only experiences, and we are different beings. Well, not different beings, but we're growing and expanding every millisecond, every second, every day. Okay, so there is no failure. We just keep growing, we just keep expanding. So let me see what else we have on the home page here. Sharon says, I rarely get a chance to watch you live, which I miss, but I don't miss anything you put out. Hope you are well. Thanks, Sharon. Happy Thanksgiving. Lisa says, people often say to help with lack to do a gratitude list daily. Is this just ego, or would it help ground the creator I am in a kind of fake it till you make it way? It's an interesting question. Why would the creator need or want to fake anything? So it's interesting. So there's a belief, you have all of these perceptions of lack that you've bought into, and so I'm gonna just tell myself I'm abundant even though I don't believe that I'm abundant, and I'm gonna fake it till I make it. So this is all mind created hoopla. Let's actually address the perception of lack. And it's hard to explain. There's nothing, we can just tune into it. Everyone can tune into it with me. We're just not defining things from the mind, okay? So we don't have another story in our head about, I'm so abundant and abundance is always coming to me, and blah blah blah. That's another story. And if you truly knew you were abundant, then you wouldn't need to tell yourself a story. Okay, so uh, it's it's again coming from the mind. So when you know who you are, right? So it's if you know who you are, right? It's not like you would go walk around telling yourself, I'm pure light, I'm the light, and I'm consciousness, you know. You are yourself. It's actually a feeling. So we're going from thinking, again, processing everything through the mind, into feeling. Okay? So it's not the easy route, but the rewards are beyond. there's no there's no words to describe them. This is the feeling of love. Okay? Not the construct that humanity has made out of it, but love. Okay, it's felt, it's tuned into. Same thing, love is abundance, abundance is love. So it's about feeling into it. Lisa says, what simple way would you recommend to see where there's attachment? Often it's unconscious. So it will bring up an emotion. So when we're attached to something, you'll feel like a tug on your energy field. So this is an example. So maybe you have a little one, and they're going to preschool or kindergarten, uh, and you're sending them off for the first time, right? So it's their first day. So you hug them, kiss them, wave goodbye, but then you have this feeling of sadness or grief, or it brings up a lot of emotion, okay? It's because there's an attachment there, and there's probably a lot of belief systems that you have going on in the subconscious uh, about parenting, having another being to take care of, all of those things. So how you know there's an attachment is when it brings up an emotion. Okay, if there's no attachment there, then you're just neutral. Okay, so same thing, how you know you've transcended something is if you go back into work and Betsy, who's been a bitch, which is a judgment, okay? This is likely if you have a difficult coworker. I'm joking, they're not a bitch, but okay, but it's a child that has been misguided, and then their mind stopped developing at that point. Okay, so, and even if you look at humanity as a whole, it's a lot of little children who are egocentric. So me, and it's all about me. So that's what's going on with people that are behaving that way. Okay, it's just a little child that is looking for love, and that has made some decisions, and they've gotten stuck there. So, but how you know you've transcended is when you walk in, you can see Betsy, and you don't feel any emotion coming up. It's just, hi, how are you? And you go on about your day. Intuitive Foundation says, my trigger has been my partner for some time now. Well, of course. So many have picked. First of all, it's funny, there's this perception, right? So the partner, whether it's a husband or a wife or whatever, is supposed to be the one that always loves you, that does everything that you want them to do, that never upsets you, and is always basically, it's a lot of perceptions, but is there to serve you or serve your ego. Okay? And it's it's energy games, right? And all of these judgments made, well, if someone loves me, then they would do X, Y, or Z. Okay? If someone loves me, then they would behave this way. They wouldn't upset me, they wouldn't do this. So it's a lot of projecting onto one another. So and again, and trying to get energy from one another. So, but when two dear ones are healthy, whole, and complete within themselves, and they don't want anything from each other, and the hearts are open, then they come together and the love grows and grows and grows and grows like a spiral. Okay? But that requires both beings to take responsibility for their egos and address their egos. Okay? So, of course, your partner is triggering you because they're reflecting back to you stuff that you don't want to see, that you, not necessarily that it's within you, but decisions you've made about yourself and past experiences. And oftentimes people are not seeing their partner as the being that they are, which is pure love. Okay? Because one, they don't see themselves for who they are, so how can you see another being for who they are? But also because they're oftentimes seeing their parents, their mom or dad. There's a saying, like, you marry your mom, you marry your dad. And there's truth to that, in that if you made decisions and didn't transcend stuff in childhood with your mom or dad, and you took on their belief systems, then you'll attract someone who has similar belief systems or who has qualities of mom and dad, because again, you're wanting to be shown that stuff so that you can transcend it. So awesome, you're triggered. So now we can go, and you can even go on a walk, take a walk with your entourage. Okay, those are the beings that can see you for who you are and are there to assist you on the path back home. And ask them, hey, what is going on here? And feeling into it. Where does this come from? Why am I so triggered by this person? What stuff is coming up that needs to be addressed? And can you show me? And they would be more than happy to assist you. That's why they're there. Let me do, yeah, I'll take Lisa's and then Megan's question. Let me get a drink. So she says, hi Megan, how do we get rid of attachments and psychic attacks? One important thing with entities, okay, is that really, yeah, there's a few things that I am wanting to say, so just bear with me, because it's a huge topic, right? So, and it's really interesting. There's a lot of, well, entities are demons, and there's the good guys and there's the bad guys, and there's demons and there's angels and blah blah blah. So let's be clear about what entities are. So, entity attachments, okay? It's basically someone, and it's not the entire being that they are, okay? But something that they gave energy to, a decision they made, and then part of their energy it didn't get stuck there because nothing's keeping them there, but it perceptively got stuck there because they cannot find their way out of it. Okay, so again, maybe someone who had a life, well, maybe they were a wealthy person, and they decided that money is the only thing that matters. And then their higher levels, all of them leaves the body, but then there's just this part that is so attached to money that it can't move forward. Okay, so it's not the whole being, it's not the divine creator that they are, but it's basically a part of their ego. Again, a belief system that they gave energy to. That's really all there is. And of course, if the third eye is open, they will appear maybe to have a body, or they might look like a person, right? So man, woman, or whatever they looked like in that lifetime. Of course, the body is not actually there, but they're showing up that way because that's who they perceive themselves to be, as the body. Okay, if they knew who they were, then all of them would just go back to the rest of themselves. So it's basically a belief, it's an idea. That's all it is. It's not evil, is a perception. They are trying to find their way home. Okay, it's just an ego without a body. A lot of humans behave just like entities do, but they just have bodies, right? So trying to get their way, trying to get energy from other people, so they just have a physical body and the entities don't. Okay, the reason that people get entity attachments is because and it's a lot of it is in mass consciousness too. It's really, again, it's just a thought form that you give energy to, and it's not that they possess you or take you over, but you take it in and take it on and make it your own because you're the one giving it energy. So there's a two-part thing here. Is I can't clear an entity for you unless you're willing to let it go. And it would be the belief system that is keeping you attached to that entity. And part of it comes from wanting and needing love outside of yourself. So oftentimes it's a little child who has gone through something, made some decisions, and then they feel too afraid to live their life. And then the entity comes along and they buy into it. So the entity acts, they believe, as a shield of protection, and the little child is in the background. So, and it doesn't matter if you're physically a little child, but there's that little child that experienced whatever in childhood and went into the background, and then something else came out in front. The ego really came out in front. So, and also the entity would never be attached to you, your pure love, pure energy, pure consciousness. It's, again, just attached to your ego. So again, we want to address your ego, what's going on there, what trauma is that entity covering up. So many have entity attachments, but they're not willing to open up, or too afraid to open up to address the trauma that entity is perceptively covering up. Okay, so that's part of it. The psychic attacks, it's, again, picking up on, well, the ego is very aggressive. can be very aggressive. Okay, it's bossy. That's how it gets you to buy into it. So same thing with mass consciousness. So if you tune into the energy of the Black Friday sales, everyone can tune into it with me. It's very aggressive, right? So hundreds of emails about buying stuff. It's all over TV, right? Buy this, buy this, buy this. It's pushing on your energies. So and people can project whatever onto you, but let's just let it fly by. So there's something in what happens is, if you try to resist something, if you try to push it away, well, then first of all, you're buying into that it has power over you, and then you're playing their game. And that's where it feels like a psychic attack or an energy game. But the thing is, you're part of it. There's something that you're buying into where you're playing their game. So that the belief that they have power over you, the belief, if someone wants to psychic attack me, what are you gonna do? So So just to laugh at it, okay? But of course, it's very serious to this part that is afraid and believes that there is, yeah, that others have power to hurt it, basically. Okay, it all comes from the identification with the body and everything. So we cannot control other people. If other people want to do spells, me, and and pretend they're like Harry Potter from Hogwarts or whatever, that's fine, okay? But it cannot affect you, it cannot hook into you, it cannot, I mean, people are doing black magic, whatever, all the time. It cannot affect you unless you're buying into it, okay? And that's why you're picking that up. So and let me get to Megan's question. Megan says, how do we work through an injury that kind of keeps us down other than going through therapy for it? I feel like I can't figure out why I'm making myself experience this, and it's really got me down. Yeah, let's first of all, let's not take everything so seriously. Okay, so let's bring some light into it. Let's light the situation up. Let's light the body up. Because there's this frustration with the body that you can't get it to do what you want it to do. And that was there before the injury. Okay, so the body just, we have discussed it before, but let's I'll go back a little bit for everyone else. So without the ego, the body is taking direction from you. Okay, no mixed messages. It is there to be your perfect vehicle. It's always regenerating itself. Okay, and it's really there to serve you. So to be your perfect vehicle to have fun with. Okay, but humanity has bought into the ego and perceives themselves to be the ego. So, and in the ego is all these judgments, belief systems, other people's energy, all of that. And then we buy into the ego, and the body picks up on that, and it gets mixed messages. And then that creates blockages in your energy field, which creates disease. Okay, this is why med beds, while they are awesome and they're there to assist humanity and will be something that comes available for humanity, they cannot cure disease, because for long term, because we're the ones creating it and giving energy to the ego, which is, and the body's responding to it. So surprise, surprise, the only one that can solve the problems that we've created for ourselves is us. So and we have all of the power in the world and outside of the world to do it. So, but it's this wanting to control the body, okay, which is why there's an injury to begin with. And then you got the injury, and then we're still trying to control. There's this frustration in trying to control the body. So then, of course, it makes it really hard for the body to heal itself, to regenerate itself, because it's all these belief systems. The body cannot do anything. The body is aging. The body is broken. Okay, that's a big one in mass consciousness, and it's something that needs to be fixed. The body is getting all of these mixed messages. So how can the body make and recreate itself in your likeness and image and heal itself when you're giving all of this energy over to the ego and letting the ego drive the show? Even saying, and this is from the heart, this is love, Megan, okay? So even saying, I can't figure out why I'm making myself experience this. You would never make yourself experience anything. You would never make yourself suffer. Okay, so can you see there's a belief about you're meant to suffer, to pay your dues, all of this stuff? I know it's bringing up all of this stuff in the subconscious. I know it's a huge a huge it's bringing up everything, which, let's be honest, is awesome. Okay? So let's let it all come up, okay? And let's start to address this stuff, and then the body will, the more you transcend the ego, the more it makes room for the love, the light, you to come in, and the body will pick up on that, and then it makes it very easy for the body to regenerate itself. But when you're taking in and taking on all of this density, all of this hoopla, and taking it into your physicality, into your energy field, then less of you can come in, and it makes it much harder on the body. So it brings up everything about you not having control, right? Or the ego not having control. And that's because you have decided, I'm going to be the one in the driver's seat. And the best way to do this is, well, the body is going to have some issues. So some people wake up because they have like a loved one that dies, or not dies, but perceptively dies, or they lose a pet, or something happens, right? That makes it's uncomfortable for the ego, okay? But it makes them question, why am I doing what I'm doing? So we just want to take a look, and you can ask your entourage, hey, what is going on here? What is coming up that needs to be addressed? Because you've been burying your head in the sand, okay? And now you're pulling your head out of the sand. And this stuff has really always been there. It's just now you're starting to notice it. And it's because, too, the energies are coming into the planet so beautifully, bringing everything up so that everyone can take a look and say, hey, is this me? So step by step, you would never make yourself do anything. You would never punish yourself. Okay? Why would the Creator punish itself? So let's take a look at where those belief systems and why there's this need to control everything around you. Let's take a look at where that comes from. Okay? All right, everyone. Well, happy Thanksgiving, and I love you all. Bye now.